From the studios of Staten Island Community Television, you're watching In the Bleachers, the TV show for the world's most passionate sports fans. Hello, everyone. I'm Jaime Hixson. Usually, you see me here with my friend Hector Bosa. Hector actually is driving over here as we speak, so he's going to be joining us in the studio within the next few minutes. So until he gets here, I'm going to be taking you all throughout the show. So we're going to see if we can take some phone calls at 718-727-0143. And, of course, Kenny Graham is on the other side of the glass. And we're here on the night after probably one of the worst played Super Bowls in the game's history. You know all about what happened. The final score was 13-3. Neither side played particularly well, but I can tell you right now, the Los Angeles Rams, who were in their fourth Super Bowl appearance and their first since they moved back to LA from St. Louis, looked about as out of place and about as unprepared as any team could ever look in a Super Bowl. And just as we speak, Hector just arrived on the other side of the glass, so he's going to be making his way into the studio in the next few moments, and he's going to be giving us his take about last night's game. So, Hector, if you will, just pull up a chair.
Where's my applause?
We ain't got no damn applause for you. You ain't got no damn applause.
You should be clapping that I'm here.
The only thing I should be giving you is the double bird.
You should be clapping.
No.
You should be clapping and kissing my feet that I'm here at this point in time.
First of all, ain't no knucklehead with half a brain going to do such a thing.
I bring in, we saw the game. It wasn't much to talk about. Defensively, it was good. Both teams played very well defense. Are the Patriots calculated? Yes. Are the Patriots lucky? Yes. Are they in a weak division? Yes. Do they get when they play their teams, do they actually want the Patriots to win every time? It seems so because the way the schedule is set up. Now, did the Rams deserve to be there? To some degree, they did, even though it was a blown call. Would it have been a better game with the Saints? Perhaps so. Who knows? You're never going to know that. Now, there's not much to talk about the game. And I'm hearing people trying to dissect it, and there's only so much you can talk about the blasted game because if it was a high-scoring game, then you can talk about of all the screw-ups they did. If it was a low-scoring game, the defense was really good. Both offensive people were not good. Brady was not. Can you say Brady was not up to par? Perhaps. Can you say that the defense of the LA Rams was that good? Yeah. Because they kept on getting them and getting them again. But how much can you talk about this game? It's a low-scoring game. There wasn't that many mistakes to begin with. There was only, one or two blown calls? There wasn't that many penalties in the game.
The hit against the defenseless receiver, I thought was kind of borderline because when you look at the replay, there was a helmet-to-helmet hit.
Yeah, but again...
And that's probably what caused the referees to throw the flag in the first place.
I was questioning that one where... I think it was the third quarter. No, it was the fourth quarter where they tried to go for a touchdown instead of going for the first down. Just go for the first down, run it out, pattern, stop the clock, go out, and then go for it again. Not just try for, because everybody's expecting you to throw for a touchdown. But again, there's only so much you can talk about this blasted game.
I think there's a lot more to this game than meets the eye.
What can you say about the game? Seriously, can you say you can't say it was a bad defensive game because it was a fantastic defensive game because you wouldn't have had
The Patriots were head and shoulders better defensively than the Rams were. Oh,
really?
By far.
Really? That's why
by far.
If that was the case, if the LA Rams was that bad as you claim to be, then Tom Brady offensively really stunk the game because the game should have been that much higher. And that's the thing.
I don't think you're giving any credit to these Patriots whatsoever.
Again, you're misconstruing something.
You're not mentioning Julian Edelman. You're not mentioning Rob Gronkowski. Edelman was the MVP for a reason.
You're absolutely right. The guys that you mentioned did what they had to do to win the game. Right? They did what they had to win the game. Plain and simple. Gronkowski blocked when he had to block. Edelman got the first down when he needed and got the touchdown when he needed it. But again, it's not that remember the game was 13-3.
I think we know that,
so,
Hector.
That being said, and you had in the first quarter alone, the LA kick coming out 8 times. So again, what can you really say? I mean, people are going to dissect this game to the point where you're going to suck the air out of it. Because to me, there's not much to dissect. Gronkowski, fantastic game. But was it a high-scoring game? No. So he did what he had to do. Edelman, did he play the way he had to play? Yes, he got the touchdown. Did he deserve the MVP? Of course he did because of how he played during the game. He got the breaks and he had to do what he had to do. Was Brady at his best? No, he wasn't. Was the Rams at their best quarterbacking? No. Did both of them play fantastic defense? Yes. Because if they didn't, the score wouldn't have been so low. It was a very good defensive game. That's it. I mean, offensively, what are you going to say? It's 13-3. If it was 21-28 or 35-14, then you could say, well, this guy blew it and this guy missed the tackle and blah, 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 blah. And then you can really dissect it. But how can you dissect the 13-3 game?
Easily.
Go ahead.
First of all, why didn't the Rams give the ball to Todd Gurley? How are you supposed to win a game with 35 yards rushing from your best running back? That's
hurt?
Number one.
Wasn't he hurt?
No, he was fine.
I thought he was hurt.
Todd Gurley was fine.
Then they
and the guy that they signed late in the regular season, C.J. Anderson, who, by the way, they want to bring back next year. Why wasn't C.J. Anderson used more? He was a matchup nightmare for other defenses during the NFC portion of the playoffs. That's number 2. Number 3, Julian Edelman showed why he is probably one of the two. He is one of the 2 best receiving threats that the Patriots have. Not only is he an outstanding receiver, especially a possession receiver, the kid is a matchup nightmare. You can't guard him one-on-one. The same thing goes for Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski is a beast of a physical specimen. Didn't the Rams ever think about wanting to put a double team against him and Edelman at any point in this game? There's your dissection right there. The Rams were completely unprepared, totally overmatched, and the Patriots, quite frankly, were the supreme defensive force in this game. I didn't see any more of a pass rush by the Rams in this game against Brady than when they intercepted him on the first pass of the game, and also when he wound up getting strip sacked on one of the sequences in the first half.
They kept on rushing him, though, and they did a good thing.
They kept on rushing him, yet they could not touch him.
They did touch him a couple of times, but they couldn't grab him and so on. But they did put
You know who got
pressure
the
on
rush
him.
in? It was the Patriots. The Patriots did an outstanding job
You're absolutely
against
right.
Jared Goff. They rushed him at least 15 to 20 times in this game.
Yeah, that's true, too.
And it got to the point where the kid was so flustered that he was practically playing desperately. As far as the Rams' offense goes, twice, they wound up dropping potential touchdowns in the end zone.
True.
That's just a sign of a receiver who maybe the spotlight or the magnitude of the game might have been a little bit too big for him. We'll never know in this one. As far as whether the Saints would have been a better matchup for the Patriots, we're never going to know because the Saints got eliminated a couple of weeks ago. So all of this stuff about who would have made the better opponent, let me put it this way. As we speak, roughly a night after the Rams wound up kicking off against the Patriots, they're still getting trolled on social media. Why do you think all those Saints fans wound up going into Atlanta to do that protest march on Peachtree Street?
But here's the thing: they're protesting the wrong person. They should not be protesting the Rams because the Rams have nothing to do with it. What are the Rams going to do? No stop? No. It was the ref's blown call. So you protest the head of the NFL. You protest those people. You don't protest the Rams. What does the Rams have to do with anything? They don't have nothing to do with it. They're not the ones that blew the call. And what are they going to say?
This only shows that the NFL needs to implement some rules where they need to not just review calls like those, potential pass interference calls, but every single call.
But here's the thing.
Holding, offsides, personal fouls against the quarterback. Do you know that they're calling a lot more roughing the quarterback penalties in these games than in years past? There was even one yesterday that was really, really questionable.
That's because the game of football is not the way it used to be. And secondly, think of it this way as well. You're going to lose money, and you're going to lose eyes already because the game will be going on for too long because everybody is going to throw up that yellow flag or the red flag that they use to call everything.
Do they want to get the games right or do they want to get the games done?
Both. They don't want it to be like baseball where it's a 3 or 3.5 hours. They want it to last about 2 hours tops. That's the thing you got to figure in. I want it to be the correct calls, but do I want it to be every time? Oh, let's review the call. Let's review the call. Oh, this guy wants to review the call. Let's do this. Every time, there's going to be a way where they're going to have to implement something where it balances out. That's it. They already have it where if you lose the call, you lose a timeout. Okay, well, maybe they should implement it again where for all those calls, you have three. You have three close. The more timeouts that you blow or that you have, those are the ones that they should take from you. You blow a call, miss a timeout. That's it. You have 3 shots. And if you use the timeouts, then you go to the second half. That's it. There's got to be something because you can't just keep on calling flag. Oh, let's do the instant replay. And then the damn game lasts for 4 hours. Nobody wants to see a damn football game for 4. And then it's a hit, stop. Nobody wants to see that.
You don't know that it's going to get to that point.
It
Hector.
will
It's not going to get to that point.
If you're constantly throwing up the flag and starting to call a review, and the review takes at least, let's say, 5 minutes a piece, people are going to review every damn thing. And this is what they have in their heads. That's why they don't want to review everything. Now they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something because that blown call, something like that has to be reviewed. Let's say the way they have it in basketball, the last 2 minutes, that's when they start reviewing something. They have to do something. Plain and simple. And they are going to do something.
Well, you want to know, how you can
football
really fix this thing?
Or for the worst thing for
Get
them.
better referees.
Those are the top of the line refs that you have out there.
Yeah, supposedly.
Those were playoff refs. The playoff refs are supposed to be the top. And then after that, the ones in the Super Bowl are supposed to be the top of the echelon of referees. So, again, you've been using these refs for the longest time in the year. And because one call was blown, now they all stink. No, they don't all stink.
There's been problems with the officiating for years, Hector, and they have been really blowing their tops about the ineptitude of some of these officials.
And you're absolutely
a lot of them being more veteran officials.
Yep. And here's the thing. There's no way of fixing it.
Get better referees.
How can you get some? Sometimes human error comes into play. And that's the problem with other things too. Human error. Human error. It's just like everything else.
Human error wound up costing the Saints the Super Bowl spot.
It's just like when I call Sprint or the Hip Center here, and I get, let's say, a computer person. I get the computer tech, and I don't want to speak to someone. I want to speak. Or they'll tell me I didn't pay a bill. Well, why? And tell me, where does it say I didn't pay the bill? Well, the computer tells me you didn't pay the bill. But yes, I did pay the bill. But the computer tells me you didn't. So this is what's going on. The whole thing's going to come down to how are they going to fix it? There's going to be mistakes along the way. Unless they get robots on the field that can detect the utmost precision, that's the only way you're going to do it. Other than that, human error will always come into play because remember, even in the past, human error has cost a lot of teams a lot of crushes in every sports that you've had because the refs are human and they make a call. If the ref is over here, he's seeing something over here. Now, sometimes you see if the ref is over here, he's making the call, but instead of the linesman getting the call, by talking to the linesman, he's saying, definitely, I saw it. Instead of them talking to this guy or them huddling around saying, okay, the head guy should be going, all right, let's talk about it for a moment. But a lot of times, if he's precise, because you see him go, why don't you talk to him first? Even in basketball, talk to the linesman, talk to this person. Don't talk. Oh, but he's definite. This guy here already seen it. So forget this person. Talk to him. Sometimes they'll talk to them and then they'll go, okay, forget it, let's switch. Because he had the better angle. But sometimes, no. That's what I mean. Human error will always come into play. And you're going to be faulty in this. Now, here's another thing. Remember I told you there was always going to be controversy at the halftime and on the Super Bowl.
You're talking about the halftime show?
Yeah, the halftime show, and there was some type of controversy, which I was reading today.
Brother.
You want to hear both of them? Okay. The second one was Maroon 5, the lead singer. If you recall, Janet Jackson and the killer aureola and nipple that lasted for 2 or 3 seconds, and everybody went stir crazy. Oh my God, we saw the nipple. Oh my God. Well, you didn't see damn diddly squat. Unless you had super perfection eyes, so far, you didn't see a damn thing. But anyway, life goes on. Because this guy took off his shirt, people are complaining, well, if you're not getting on if you're getting on Janet Jackson's, why are you not getting on this guy for showing off his chest?
Because he's a
man.
And
he's showing off his aureola as a nipple, plain and simple. And here's the first one that I'm going to tell you, which I agree. Atlanta honored Martin Luther King, right? That's cool. That's cool. And he was a sign of peace and protest and so forth. Protest peacefully, human rights and all that other stuff, right? But yet you have the irony of Colin Kaepernick, who protested basically for the same thing Martin Luther King protested. Mm-hmm. Yet they're honoring Martin Luther King, but they won't give Colin Kaepernick a shot. So you got some hypocrisy there too.
Not some hypocrisy. That's total hypocrisy.
Well, for some people, it's some hypocrisy because they believe that he should kneel. So there's some people out there that swear up and down because the president said that he should not be kneeling. It's disrespectful. And there's some military, like I said, there are some people that are saying it's disrespectful, and there are some people that didn't. The guy that Colin Kaepernick spoke to this military man. How can I protest without being disrespectful? Put your knee down. And then there's the other people who go, oh, no, he's being disrespectful. He shouldn't be doing it, blah, blah, blah. There's no ways of going about this. And the game was so bad, let's say. Even though, to me, it was good because it was a good defensive game all around. Even though there was a lot of mistakes on the Rams' part, offensively. But they're talking more about the commercial than the game. They are talking more about the commercial than the game. Now, the best one was, in my opinion, when all the football players started tackling
the NFL's 100th anniversary.
That was the
best. That by far
one.
Was the best.
That's the best one. Everything else was piss on water. That's it.
Some of them were pretty decent, though.
Yeah, but you know what? If you want to call the best, that was the best one. I don't care about any other else. I don't care about Kravitz kid doing that soft nonsense. I don't care about any. I cared about that one because that one was the best one. Plain and simple English. That's it.
Well, if I can add to this, that little joint project that Bud Light did promoting Game of Thrones final season, that was pretty brilliant.
And you're always expecting the damn dragons after 5 years it took for the damn dragons to come. 5. Mind you, 5. But like I said, people are going to dissect this game to the point where there's not really much to dissect because you already hit it in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. The Rams didn't play very well offensively. The Patriots both teams played defensively very well, but the Rams' defensive people got tired. Gronkowski and the other jump played fantastic because Gronkowski blocked away and let Edelman go in that pocket, and that's how they got.
There was also Sony Michel getting 94 yards rushing.
Exactly.
He was the best running back on the field.
Exactly. Did Brady play like Brady? No.
He did not have his best game, but he made the throws when he was supposed to.
Exactly. But again, people were expecting this high-scoring, lopsided game.
See, that's why they play the games.
And also, as one person stated, that the Rams were susceptible to the run. Was that true?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Big time.
Yes,
and it wasn't just Sony Michel either. Rex Burkhead had a really good supporting role along with Michel.
But again, there's only so much to dissect because you've already nailed the majority of the game.
Yeah.
The whole game, you've nailed it.
Yeah.
There's not much to say about it except Rams.
Except the Patriots were the better team. They now have a record 6 Super Bowls, all of which have been won in the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era. By the way, a couple of records were set in yesterday's game. Not only did the Patriots win their record 6th Super Bowl in franchise history, Tom Brady's now the oldest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
He's 41 years old. Bill Belichick is the oldest head coach to ever win a Super Bowl. His 67th birthday is, I'd say, a couple of months from now.
The first team to have two brothers to win a Super Bowl.
Twin brothers. The McCourties.
McCourties. Yep.
Devin and Jason McCourty, who grew up in Westchester County, then played at Rutgers.
So you have a lot of first, and they're also the team that has won the most Super Bowls. They've surpassed Pittsburgh, 49ers, Cowboys. They've surpassed all those great teams. Again, you go by the assumption, are they a lucky team? Yeah, they get the
Some
calls.
champions do
They get the calls
achieve
given
what they're
to them.
supposed to,
They get
but
the
with a
calls-
little bit of luck.
They get the calls given to him because he's Tom Brady.
We got to
And
call a
because
spade
he's
a spade here.
It's Bill Belichick, okay? They're going to get the calls. Just like in the NBA, just like in baseball, just like in hockey, just like in soccer. If you're the main guy, you're going to get the calls to your side. LeBron, for God's sakes, LeBron walks and fouls, and he should get tossed a lot of times, but he doesn't because he's LeBron.
By the way, Brady has now won the same amount of titles as Michael Jordan.
Two different sports.
Two different sports.
Two different
Same
sports.
amount of titles. Same amount of rings for each guy.
Again, that's two different sports. That's like me comparing Brady to Johnny Unitas.
Oh, that's.
It's different. It's different
I
era.
don't think. I don't think there's any comparison, to be honest.
No,
with you.
because people are going to say, who was the better quarterback? Now people are going to say, who was the better quarterback? Was it Brady? Was it Montana? Was it Unitas? And then people are going to start lining up stats and all that. And you really, I think it's unfair because you have to go by the era. And they didn't have that many stats that they do now. So
if anything, Brady and Joe Montana are mirror images of each other because they are the most clutch quarterbacks in Super Bowl history.
I mean, look at the Dolphins quarterback,
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino. One of the best quarterbacks ever on the football. But did he ever win a damn game, a Super Bowl? No. But yet, he has one of the best yards per yards as a quarterback. He's got titles he's got MVP and all that under him. But for God's sakes, he didn't win a Super Bowl. This is a man that you felt sorry for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he was that damn good. But again, it was a different era because a lot of the calls that are being made today were not being made before. And it's to protect the players now for less being concussed and all them other things. And that's the problem that you're having, which is the NFL should be protecting their older players.
They should be protecting all of the players. That's what they should be doing.
But all the players that had played the game, it's like being a senior citizen. And because our system really stinks for senior citizens, and don't think that you're never going to get there, ladies and gentlemen. You may wind up in a home, and those homes are not the greatest. Okay? They suck your life. They treat you badly in some of those places, and that's it. You're done. So, that being said, like J.R. Richards, on drugs, best pitcher in the game, blew his money. The Astros finally brought him in. They helped him out. They should, and this is, I think, what the contract in the NFL was supposed to do. They're trying to reach out to the older football players that have problems with their concuss and all that. Trying to reach out to them. People that have bad knees, hips, everything. They should try to reach out to those players because those are the ones those guys that were back then made the game for you now. You want to appreciate them, you want to value them, help them like you would yourself. Plain and simple. They're not doing that. Very rare do you hear about any organizations that are bringing in the old timers, the ones that are down and out, and so very rare. I mean, you'll hear a success story once in a while. You know, hey, you know, we put them into drug rehab, we did this, we did that, and then what? 1, 2, 3 out of what, 10? The NBA is making a lot of money. Baseball making a lot of money. And you don't know if they're going to go on strike in 2 years.
Yeah, that which reminds me.
That's a lot of stuff going on.
After next year, the NFL is, if I'm not mistaken, I think the NFL's contract with the union is supposed to expire after next year. And there's a strong possibility of a very lengthy lockout.
Look at that. We had a government lockout, which may happen again. Then we're going to have a football lockout. Then we're going to have a baseball lockout because the greed get greedier in both sides. There is so much money out there to be made, and everybody wants a slice of the pie, but they don't know how to break that pie because they think, I'm a billionaire. I want to stay a billionaire, or I want to try to become a trillionaire. Nobody's telling you can't be that. Pay your damn taxes, man. Give up some money. You have enough. If you're a trillionaire, for God's sake, you're that 1%. Do something. You're getting a big TV contract. They want more money from that TV contract. So when you hear a player getting, let's say Manny Machado wants $133 million for 10 years, right? Now you figure the first 3, oh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. In 3 years or 4, oh, that's a lot of money. 4th, 5th, and 6th year, that's not a lot of money. You know why? Because the revenue from TV, they're getting more money.
You know.
Everybody's making money. So, and here's the thing that Ro and I were discussing is that why are professional players are making more money than scientists, the president, Congress, and so on? Why, instead of encouraging people to be scientists, because that's what we need now, fire department, teachers, all that other stuff, that they get low-paying jobs. Instead of putting money into that, we have people selling practically their souls to be either in sports, women having to show their bodies, which is fine. I'm all for it. Hey, if you're a stripper and you get your law degree, more power to you, sister. Go ahead, because we're in a place where we take everything for an advantage. So in baseball, we have that. They're getting revenue. And the poor kids in college, look at how much money they're losing and they're gaining. All they need is that one shot and they're through. They're football, baseball, volleyball, they're through. Yet look at all them colleges making that much money. And look at the video games that come out. Are the players getting that? No. It's the colleges that are getting that money. If it wasn't for that about 10 years ago, not Lem Bias, I forgot what basketball player he sued and he won to get money from revenue.
Ted O'Bannon.
Get Ted O'Bannon. I mean, come on. Yes, we're paying you in college. You're in a prestigious college. How do I know that you really study?
Yeah.
Okay. It goes both ways. But, again, you have all this to think about. And right now, you have the Jets. Because I send you something on the Jets.
Now that the season's over, we're getting closer and closer to
draft season,
the NFL draft, and also NFL free agency. And probably the most prime free agent that's out there right now is Le'Veon Bell, lately of the Steelers. And the Jets, they're going to pursue him, but they're not going to break the bank for him. That's one thing. And from what I understand,
break the bank for him?
Should they? They don't really have to, because even though he's a tremendous player, it's not like he's the second coming of Walter Payton either.
Yeah, but when you have a need, you have a need, and if he's the
And
best.
the Jets really have a need for a running back.
Because here's the thing with the Jets. Do they have to rebuild the front line? Yes, they do.
They got a lot of work to do in a lot of places.
Do they have a lot in the draft department? Todd Bowles was sacrificed, which is fine. Hey, you got to change if the man. But then you have the GM.
Mm-hmm.
Should he have been sacrificed? And the reason why he wasn't sacrificed is because you got Donaldson.
Yeah.
Should he still have been sacrificed, even though he got your quarterback?
To answer that question, possibly, because his draft history wasn't necessarily that great. I mean, after Jamal Adams and Leonard Williams and maybe Darren Lee and maybe one or two others, what else was there that the Jets could really bankroll their future on?
Let me ask you this. Do you think that the Jets, Giants, Knicks have that problem where nobody wants to play for them? The only teams that they want to play for are the Yankees and the Mets.
The Jets, they definitely have that problem. The Knicks, they've had that problem for years.
Yeah, exactly. How about the Giants? Do you think people want to play for the Giants?
I would say so, because the Giants have more stable ownership than a lot of the other franchises that I know of. It's definitely a lot more stable than the Jets. That's for damn sure, because now their owner is doing an ambassadorship to the UK, and his brother has taken over has pretty much taken over the kitchen, if you will, so he can cook the meal like Bill Parcells said all those years ago.
How many players have you heard that want to play for the Giants?
Very few.
Exactly. How many players have you heard that want to play for the Jets?
I haven't heard anybody say that they want to play for the Jets.
How many players want to play for the Knicks? They've been people that want to play for them, but do they actually play for them?
It's a lot of hearsay that I've been encountering lately.
Again, so you got those three teams. Islanders. Do you think anybody wants to play for the Islanders?
If a superstar player, no.
That's what I mean.
Because the Islanders have had a very, very checkered history up until this season. This season, they've played very well.
And the Rangers. Have you heard of any superstar that want to play for the Rangers?
Kevin Shattenkirk.
But are they a lot of people or very few?
There have been a few. Not all of them have been superstar players, though.
But that's what I mean. New York used to have that star power that people wanted to play here. Now, it seems more like a joke.
Yeah.
It seems more like a joke.
And the other guy that might be dangled as trade bait, and Antonio Bryant of the Steelers, Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown of the Steelers, he says he wants to play for the 49ers.
But again, you've answered my question because a lot of teams want to play for the Yankees. A lot of players want to play for the Yankees.
Because that is where they have a really good shot of winning a World Series.
Do they want to play for the Mets?
Not even.
There are some players that do want to, but I would go with the Giants. I would put them in.
Lately, they've been getting a lot of interchangeable parts to try and make their way to Citi Field and play for the Mets.
And they're not. And
they're getting more Todd Frazier's and Jed Lowry's and of course, they're bringing back Jody Familia more than anybody else.
Well, I could tell you this much. Can you see the Mets making a rumble? Being in first, second, or third?
If they get 2 more starting pitchers and maybe make a couple more additions to the back end of the bullpen, then yes, I would.
Yankees?
Yankees without question.
Even without Machado?
Even without Manny Machado, of course.
Okay, good enough.
Because I think their outfield is still strong enough to try and make a run. Once Didi Gregorius comes back from his Tommy John surgery, if you plug him back at shortstop, I think they'll definitely make a run. That's another thing. The Yankees have added a lot of depth to the infield.
And pitching, too.
Pitching, too.
And
from what I understand,
except for first base, they've done horribly at first base. But
right now they're doing a platoon of Luke Voigt and Greg Bird at first,
with all those,
which is nothing to crow about.
I don't understand with all those people out there, and they can't find one first baseman. Unbelievable.
JD Martinez was out there last year, and the Yankees passed on him.
Again, I don't. There is a lot more players out there in the world, but. Who am I? You know, who am I? There must be something that is be seen.
And since we're talking baseball, spring training is right around the corner. Pitchers and catchers are going to start to report, I think, next week.
It's just around the corner.
Yep. Pitchers and catchers go first, and then the other position players follow a few days later.
You know,
and the first preseason games are going to be played, I think, February 26th.
And you're going to see it, too, because before you never used to see it. People were hungry to see those games. And now they're showing them like clockwork, like nothing. I mean, hell, when did we ever get to see...
Yankees Red Sox preseason games in Tampa and in Fort Myers.
Exactly. I mean, hell, we're seeing the G League.
Yeah.
We're seeing the G League. When do we... I mean, well, the D League it used to be.
You can actually see G League games on Facebook now.
Unbelievable. And I'm going, boy, these people really are trying to make... I mean, if you see the G Leagues, it's like a college game.
Yeah.
A souped-up college game because these are supposed to be the core of your players where they're supposed to be ready for
the big time.
For the big time. And you're seeing these guys, and I'm going, you've got to be kidding me. But again, they have to have players. And, boy, and the other big question... The other big thing that's been talked about, Kristaps Porzingis leaving.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, this was a 7-player trade that the Knicks made with the Mavericks. It was Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr.
Good. He's gone.
Courtney Lee.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And Trey Burke all going to the Mavericks for Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan.
Yes.
And Wesley Matthews.
Now,
and some future first-round picks.
Two
future first-round picks, which is probably the most important part of the deal right there because the Knicks really want to stockpile on number 1 draft picks for down the road.
And they also are getting expiring contracts.
And they're getting 2 expiring contracts, one of Jordan, who only signed for this year with the Mavericks, and Wesley Matthews, who's also in his walk year.
And Matthews is being pursued by a lot of teams right now. And now
He's a veteran guard who can help somebody.
Now, here's the thing. Do the Knicks just give up on him and let somebody scoop him up, or do you try to trade him to get a piece? Because remember, the Knicks just want to trade contract for contract or draft picks.
I would have thought that maybe the Knicks would have bought out Matthews and Jordan's contracts and let them sign with anybody that they wanted to. But
if
maybe it is going to be part of a bigger plan for them.
If you can get someone for, even if it's two second round draft choices, at least you're getting something for them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other person they got to get rid of is Cantor and Lance Thomas.
Yeah. Well, Enes Kanter, let's face
as much
facts,
as I
they
like
have completely doo-dooed on that poor guy.
They really
dropped the ball with this guy because he had been their most productive player for about almost a year and a half. And now they suddenly decide not to play him. There's something fishy going on here.
It's not the style of basketball that Fitzgerald wants to play. He wants to play an up-tempo, and Cantor is more of an inner game type person.
Mm-hmm.
Throw the ball to him, and he's got
more of a post presence.
Post-present game. So,
for the record, the trade deadline has officially been changed. It's not February 16th or the 23rd anymore. It's now February 7th, which is this Thursday. Which means you're going to be seeing a whole bunch of activity taking place among NBA teams.
How much of an activity can you see? I mean, there was already one big blockbuster trade.
Keep in mind, Anthony Davis has already put in a trade request from the Pelicans.
He wants to play for the Lakers?
Either the Lakers or the Knicks or one of
Milwaukee Bucks, I think,
mm-hmm.
and someone else.
There's a handful of teams that he made a list of.
Now, remember, if the Knicks decide to go after this dude, they have to match his salary. Okay?
Which means they're going to have to give up a busload of players just to get him.
They're going to have to give up Frank Ntilikina, Robertson, Knox, your number one draft pick, which could be Zion Williamson, and probably the other guard. What's that young dude's name? Oh, I forgot his blasted name. The guy that came out of nowhere. Him. You're going to have to give up 5 or 6.
Alonzo Trill, you're probably talking about?
Yes. You're going to have to give up 5 or 6 of your young guys that you base your whole team around, because you swapping now for patience and let's give the kids a chance You're going to do the Carmelo Anthony trade to get one guy who's very special. Like you said, we both agreed that he's special.
He also has a medical issue.
Is he prone to medical? Yes, he is. Can he bring? Now, here's the thing you got to think about. Forget the fact that you don't like the Knicks, and I understand what you feel about them. But you bring in AD to the group, and you have 70 to 73 million. That means you have 2 max contracts. And let's say, for the sake of argument's sake, just for the sake of argument's sake, I'm not saying that they're coming. I'm not denying nothing wrong. Let's say you get AD, and then all of a sudden Kevin Durant goes, I want to play for him. I want to play with him. And Kyrie Irving wants to play with him. So now you got 3 players. You've got 3 superstar caliber players, but then who do you have on the bench?
They don't have a bench.
That's my point. You got rid of all your guys. Now you're hoping that those star players will bring in other star players. But in the beginning, the Knicks were preaching, let's play the young guys, Kyrie Irving, I still think he's still in his mid-20s. AD's in his mid-20s. Kevin Durant is his 30s, early 30s.
He's exactly 30. He'll turn 31 later this year.
So if you want to win with those guys, Would you do something like? Would you do trade? Would you trade your crop of kids to get rid of Zion Williams, Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robertson, probably Dennis Smith Jr., Alonzo Trey, all them guys? Get rid of probably Manny Moutier. Would you get rid of at least 5 of those or 6 of those guys to get AD?
If it meant sacrificing the potential first overall pick and missing out on Zion Williamson,
yes.
Oh, brother.
You have to give that up because you have to.
Do you know how
salary.
often the Knicks have been burned from trading away so many picks in the past?
Yep.
It's still taking them time to recover.
The Carmelo Anthony. That's the one. It was Dolan that wanted Carmelo Anthony. The GM didn't want him. He didn't want to give up 6 guys. I mean, that was Timothy Mozgov and all them other guys.
This is exactly why this guy needs to be banned from the NBA.
What they should do, what the NBA should do, and this is just my opinion now, they should do what they did with the Yankees. Try to build up your major team. You have to build up the other teams as well, the small teams. You have to build up the small team.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. You got to give them a fair shake. But if you are pushing for the Lakers, the Knicks, and all those major teams like Chicago, and they're at the bottom of the basement, and you got some of these other teams that are not worth the dime, even though they're good teams, they're not bad teams, but they're good teams. But you don't have a standout. You always want to have an evil empire. You always want to have the Lakers go in because they're evil. Just like the Yankees.
Not as evil as the Warriors.
And just like the Yankees. You always, no matter whether you're a Yankee fan or not, you always want to either beat them or you always want them to win. But they'll always bring in the TV revenue.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you got to consider. There's got to be somehow where the NBA has to get in there and go, hey, Dolan, you're screwing up everything.
They should have stepped in when there was that sexual harassment scandal that took place a decade ago.
Exactly. And that's my point. The league should step in there and try to revamp these guys to spend money. For the smaller teams that don't want to spend money, make them spend money. And for the bigger teams, just fix them. It's not about spending money. It's that you want to attract them to play. Nobody wants to play for the Knicks right now because of the environment. The last thing that the bitter taste that they have now is either Enes Kanter, Kristaps Porzingis, or Charles Oakley. What they did to them. Now, did Fitzgerald go to Latvia for 5 days with his wife to spend with Kristaps? Yes, he did. He tried to make amends. Are they trying to make amends with everybody? Yes, they are. If it's true what they're saying, that he didn't want to play here, more power to him. You get rid of him. You have to have people that are mindset. But you have to go in the direction of people that are, you have to do the right thing. You got to somehow attract these people who want in.
About this potential Anthony Davis deal, what are the Knicks supposed to get back in exchange for all of these players that you mentioned?
I'm going to remember they have to match salary. It's about salary, so it's probably a 6-for-2.
Oh wow!
6-for-2 and probably a draft choice.
So they would give up a lot, yet they would get very little in return. You
would get AD, one of the most predominant players in the league, at 25 years old. Just hope he doesn't break down on you.
Yeah, they would.
And the other thing is, you better hope that he brings in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. You better hope he brings Kawhi Leonard. You better hope that if you bring in AD, you better hope that other stars want to play with him.
Well, I can tell you right now, there is no superstar with even 1/4 of a brain that would ever want to set foot in the Garden except as an opponent.
If you get AD, don't be too surprised. don't be too surprised. Let's see what happens in July, because the newspapers are saying they got rid of Kristoff. If they don't make a big splash trying to get at least 2 max players, let's say Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Leonard. If they don't get somebody like that at that top level, do you think that it was a waste then? If they don't get at least 2 of the top levels guys, do you think that trade was a bust?
If they don't get 2 max superstar type players?
Yes.
Of course.
Well, then the Knicks got to do something. Because
the only thing they can do is try and rebuild through the draft again.
Right now, the Nets. Does anybody really want to play for the Brooklyn Nets? Even though they're making the playoffs and so, does anybody want to play for the Nets?
And it's not a guarantee they're making the playoffs yet. There's still roughly 30 games left in the year.
There's still 7. Yeah, well, in the NBA.
And they've slumped a little bit. They've lost their last couple of games.
True, but, I'm going by the assumption that they'll be in 7th or 8th, the 8th seed, 7th or 8th seed. But does anybody want to play for the Nets?
It's 50-50 at this point, to be honest with you. I mean, they'll be impressed by the way they've rebuilt the roster.
They've done a good
right
job.
way.
They've done a good job, though.
Of course.
After that debacle with that,
After the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett trade, which set them back 5 or 6 years, it had to take someone really, really smart to try and rebuild that roster. And Sean Marks has been that guy, and he has been a godsend for that franchise. I mean, under his leadership, they've been able to draft guys like Jared Allen and also make trades for guys like Alan Crabb and Damari Carroll. And also, he was the one that discovered Spencer Dinwiddie, who he signed off the scrap heap. And Spencer Dinwiddie has been their best player this season.
Congratulations to D'Angelo Russell for making the All-Star team.
His very first All-Star appearance. He's going to be replacing the injured Victor Oladipo in the All-Star game, which is going to be played this year in Charlotte.
Should Kevin Knox have made it?
I think he'll probably make the rookie-sophomore game.
No. He's not making that either.
He's not making that either? Well, there was no chance he was going to make the regular All-Star team.
Yeah, I mean,
the rookie-sophomore challenge, well, maybe if he gets in as an injury replacement.
Yeah, that's the only way he's going to get in, because other than that, he's not making it. He's not making it.
And while there are no Knicks in the rookie-sophomore game, which, by the way, is the United States versus the world, from the Nets, there is Jared Allen and their second-round draft pick from this past summer, Rodion Skorix.
I think, and maybe they should at least one player from each team, and then after that, whoever's left.
Just like in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, get one play to represent. I don't think it's fair. Each team should be represented. That's just me again, just talking. But we have 1 minute left.
Mm-hmm.
So do we say our hellos or goodbyes?
This is the part where we say our goodbyes now.
Well, goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks to everybody for watching us through here. Of course, you could see reruns of our show on Facebook.
Yes.
Which, by the way, you can now see reruns of the show on my personal Facebook page.
You have a personal Facebook page?
I've had it for about 10 to 15 years already.
Holy cow.
And there's also Twitter and YouTube. So, thanks to Kenny Graham on the other side of the glass.
Oh, you forgot his name already?
No. Kenny Graham is his name.
Kenny, he forgot your name.
I did not forget your name.
Oh,
Stop causing trouble.
Jesus. Well, Kenny Graham, thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.